Hi, my name is Tyvis Powell, former Ohio State Buckeye and national champion DB. Welcome to the Buckeye Cast. These guys was born and bred in the Buckeye State, and they like to talk Buckeye football and drink bourbon. Subscribe to the show. Now pour up a drink and pull up a stool. Here's your host, Joe Warwick. Get him, Joe.
All right, Tyvis, we appreciate you. Welcome into your Buckeye Rush Hour for a Friday, November 15th, 2024. I knew that. I just had to look at it. I couldn't help myself. I had to look at the freaking clock up in the corner. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Let's get a question in here for the chat. Okay. Let's see. I had a good one in my memory banks, but then I went on living my life and forgot it. Let's go. Let's see. All right. Let's say, so assuming the Buckeyes beat Indiana and the Cheaters after they beat Northwestern this week, does Indiana make the playoffs? You can answer that. Or does Penn State make the playoffs? Yes or no on each of those two guys. Penn State and Indiana, do they both make the playoffs? Which, in my opinion, would give us 4 Big Ten teams in. And I don't know what that coach for SMU was thinking about, but the ACC sucks. Rhett Lashley, SMU coach, I believe, was talking shit about asking questions why the SEC and Big Ten should get 4 teams in. Well, the ACC sucks, dude. You're barely skating by in a garbage conference with a garbage schedule. So maybe just worry about your playing in your new conference one time here. Anyway, so let me know, Indiana and Penn State, do they both make it into the playoffs? A one-loss Indiana, ooh, I don't know, man. We just don't have anybody else to send as a 4th team, right? I mean, the bottom, after the top 4, the rest of the conference sucks. You know, Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State. Then the next team is Iowa with 3 losses in conference. You know, 4 overall. Minnesota 3 losses. Illinois 3 losses. And it goes downhill from there. You know, so if we're going to get 4 in, Indiana can't afford to lose more than 1 game, and same for Penn State. They can't afford to lose another game either. Now, they shouldn't with their cupcake schedules they have remaining for the most part, but we'll wait and see. So let's get into it. Please hit me with your questions and comments. We will get to those, I promise. Today, we're doing the 5 keys to a Buckeye victory. These are going to be short and concise and to the point. I'm not going to go on and suck all the air out of the room. So we'll get to those in a second. And I'll give you a little weather update for tomorrow in Chicago. And then we're going to talk best bets. I'm on a little bit of a heater. Don't like to, pump my tires too much, but somebody has to around here, right? So I went 9-9 last week. But the week before that, I was 7-3. So this week, we'll get into it, but I've got not as many games because the schedule of games is kind of sucky. But this is one of those weeks where you could have some major upsets and totally, throw a monkey wrench into the entire equation. So sometimes when these garbage, schedules or the slate for the week doesn't look great, that's when people get bit. All right, let's get into it here. 5 keys to a Buckeye victory. And I have some video for you from Wrigley, just posted recently on the Twitter, and we're going to talk about the field again. What could go wrong, right? Yeah, so this is what we're dealing with. The red circles are danger areas if you're a player. I don't trust this turf situation over the infield. How long has that stuff been sitting there? Has it even taken hold? Is it just going to get plowed up and churned up? when guys try to run, when, big O linemen try to dig in their heels? Is it just going to give way? This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, but I'm sure you guys have heard enough other people bitching about it too. So we'll come back to this, though. So anyway, 5 keys to a Buckeye victory. Starting off with the weather, of course. 54 for the high tomorrow in Chicago, on the north side, of course. Do they get some lake effect winds, like the sea breeze or anything? Only 10% chance of precipitation. Humidity 71%, so they get some of that moist air coming off the lake. Wind at 12 miles per hour. Now, much better than 2 years ago, but still, hopefully it's manageable. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, so key to a Buckeye victory, number 1, get some good cleats, long cleats. Chop your feet. If you're running out there, keep short steps, high knees, and keep those feet moving. Again, good cleats. Will Howard, you said you're getting new cleats? Good. You're going to need them. Get some long ones, like the 1-inchers, like you'd wear maybe against Notre Dame or Penn State, So, anyway, good cleats, chop your feet, and maintain your footing at all times. Sometimes going down, that doesn't sound good. Sometimes going down is the best thing to do in certain cases, but you know what I mean. It's easier. It's better to just slide, than risking injury. So, key to a Buckeye victory, number 2, do not run through the end zones. Stay on the field. I don't want to see any 9 routes, any fades, going into the end zones, either end, because they're both up against the freaking brick wall or the dugout. So stay on the field at all times. Do not leave the field. Pretend that outside the lines is poison, okay? So do not run through the field, run through the end zones, outside the lines. Stay in your happy place. Stay in your safe zone. Key to a Buckeye victory, number 3. This is on the coaches, offensive coaches. Bring the run game. Again, I said it's going to be 12-mile-an-hour winds. Who knows when you're going to get those gusts, up to 20 maybe. So bring the run game, and we don't need to attempt the long, bombs over Baghdad shit this week. Just let's run the ball. This team is not good. This defense is better than Purdue. Let's be real. They're not Purdue. Purdue, though, was one of the worst teams in the country in all of football. So this Northwestern defense is good against the pass and the run. They're 24th in rushing yards per game allowed, but I would look at their schedule. We'll get back to that in a minute. So if garbage is trying to run at you, you can stop garbage. Play a real team like a Buckeye offense that is averaging, 185 a game rushing, and see how things go. So strength versus strength here. Buckeyes 35th in the country in rushing yards per game. Northwestern 24th in opponent rushing yards. Let's see, as we butt heads down in the trenches, let's see who wins that battle. I got all the faith in the world in the Buckeyes and that offensive line. So bring the running game. Stay out of the windy shit. Of course, you got the short RPO passing and things like that. Of course, don't take that away. But I don't feel the need to practice the deep ball, So we're not good at it anyways. So key to a Buckeye victory, number 4. Get in, get out. Get in, get out. Get in, get out. Let's get the starters out as early as possible. I'm talking, not going to break my heart if you do it before halftime. Although I don't know where you'd go. Can't go shower, I guess. But so get the starters in, rack up a nice 4 to 5 touchdown lead, get them out, and get the young guys in, get the backups in. Let's not risk injury with the starters here. So get in, get out. And that goes for the entire game. Let's just go in there, do what we got to do, and get the hell out. Okay? So, all right, key to a Buckeye victory number 5. I told you these are going to be short. I'm not going on and on, for hours on end for a Northwestern game. Number 5, we're on to Indiana. That's it. That's all you need to say. We're on to Indiana. Put this game in the rear view. Let's put it out of reach early, and then get started on Indiana as soon as possible. So that's it. That's the list. Key to 5 keys. Good cleats, chop your feet. Don't run through the end zones. Bring the run game. Get in, get out. Get the young guys in. Get the starters out. And then we're on to Indiana. All right. Last 2 games are in Columbus, so you'll have some home cooking. They're going to be noons. They're going to be noon games, so nothing unusual there. Is weird that this is an 11 a.m. start local time, but I just don't change your clocks is what I would do, and stay on your regular schedule. Just start it an hour earlier. So anyways, the Buckeyes have won 10 straight against Northwestern. Their last loss to Northwestern was in 2004. So been a long time since you rock and roll. And Carnell Tate returns to Chicago, his hometown. He played football at IMG down here in Florida, down in Bradenton. But he's originally from the Windy City. So let's maybe hook him up with a few touchdowns, Maybe he'll have some family in the stands, stuff like that. So those are your 5 keys. Let's check on the chat here before we get into our best bets. All right, let's pop them up here. Sage is the first one in. Hello, Sage. How you doing? Good to see you. Billy's back. Good to see you, Billy. Hey, Joe, where you going with that gun in your hand? You forgot the rest, Billy. Sage says, yes, 4 Big Ten teams get in. I agree. They're just going to be with 1 loss, 2 of them. So, yeah. Billy says, Penn State will get in, but they might put a 3-loss Georgia in over Indiana. That's my concern right there, man. And that screws us out of our 4th team. We don't have any other options, When I read through the standings there, we got nothing after Indiana and Penn State, man. We got freaking nothing. And again, we talked about it on Sunday Night Show. Indiana just hasn't freaking played anybody, man. You don't know what you got there. And I know they played Michigan. Again, they still haven't played anybody. So beating a garbage Michigan, I don't know if that does much for your resume. Oops, I forgot to transition. Can't use that word. Let's go. Sage says, get some Tennessee Orange Bowl cleats. There you go. Get those long bastards. Exactly. Sage says, when we lost to Manning in the bowl game, they wore illegal length cleats. I didn't know that. Oh. Figures. Grass on this field looks pretty long as it is. You notice that? It looks like you're playing freaking Notre Dame. Billy says, if we only win by a TD but get out of Wrigley healthy, I'll be happy. Same here. Health is number 1. We cannot and should not we can't afford offensive line injury. Other positions we're pretty deep at. O-line, no. O-line, quarterback, I don't like our situations behind those guys. So, yeah. Anyway, I agree, Billy, though. I'll take health and a 1-touchdown victory any day of the week, twice on Saturday. Sage says, KISS and TCB. Keep it simple, stupid. And you lost me with the TCB. Is that like TCBY? This country's best yogurt? I can't believe it's not butter. What's that stuff? I'm just kidding. Yeah, you lost me there on the TCB, Sage. I'm a little slow on the uptick sometimes, though. Let's check and see. Nobody's watching on Instagram. We are on Instagram and Twitter. So, taking care of business. Thank you. I should have known. Yep. That's a good old acronym. Was widely used in the 90s in corporate America. But anyways, so all right, let's get into our best bets. You guys are welcome to play along if you'd like. You can give me your score predictions for these games. Like I said, I'm not doing a ton of games, but I'm doing a lot of bets on these few games. So keep it locked in. Let's go. So week 11, like I mentioned, I went 9-9. All right, but on the season, 62-52. Now, my quick, simple math says that's well over 500. So that's a good thing. Recapping last week's bets, we lost on the Iowa quarterback over/under passing yards, 131.5. Dude lit up UCLA, of course, figures. So I lost on that one. Lost on the Canes, and the Canes lost big time to Georgia Tech. So, kind of a win, though. I feel okay about that loss, right? Anytime the Canes go down. And that's why I haven't bet on them all year, because I don't trust them. And the first time I did was this past week, and they screwed me. No shocker. Like a South Beach whore. I did win on the under 63.5. I knew Georgia Tech was going to keep that relatively close, but I thought that Miami would make it a 2-touchdown win. Anyway, kept it under there, so I got the win. Let's see, Florida at Texas. I got the dub there. Texas beat the piss out of those Gators. We lost on the Georgia game. I had Georgia -3 for the game, but I won on the under again, under 56. The Cheaters at Indiana. I took the L. I thought Indiana would cover that one, but it was 14.5. Anyway, I still got the win. They their offense just didn't show up in the second half. I did win the Davis Warren under passing yards, 154.5. He was well under that. We lost Oregon for the first half against Maryland. We lost Oregon for the game against Maryland. -14.5 for the first half and -24 for the game. Bama, we did win that one. They beat the crap out of LSU. They were favored by just 3 at Death Valley. Then Florida State at Notre Dame, we got the win there. Notre Dame was favored by 26. And then the last one we lost was Washington at Penn State. I thought Washington would keep it a little closer, but again, maybe there's something to that east traveling west, west traveling east over 2 time zones thingy. It's not looking good sometimes for some of these schools. Washington was plus 12.5 in that game, but Penn State beat them up pretty good. And then we went 3-2 on the Buckeye game. I had lost on the first half spread, 23.5. We were up 21-0 at the half, so almost. But we did cover for the game. Buckeyes were favored by 38, and the under 53. We won that. Then I had Quinshawn Judkins over 88.5 rushing yards. We lost that one, obviously. But Trey was well over his 67.5 rushing yards. So we split those 2 player props there. Okay, so let's get into it here. Let's talk about this week's games. We got noon on ABC. You got number 3, Texas, going to Arkansas, Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville. Texas is favored by 7. Now let's look at the matchup here and break down some of these numbers. So this Texas team is top 20 in most offensive categories, including nose hair. Now, the Arkansas defense, on paper, it looks horrible. Can they keep this game close is my question. Points per game, they're 86 in the country. They're allowing 30 points a game. Yards per game, they're 102nd in the country, allowing 420. Light them if you got them. Third down conversions, 83rd. Red zone scoring, 46th. So they tighten up a little bit in the red zone. Great. Yards per play, 94th. They do allow 136 rushing yards per game to their opponents. Texas puts up 164. Through the air, this is where I think there's a huge gap, and this is where Texas, I think, can really make some hay. Texas puts up 301 passing yards per game. That's ninth in the country. And Arkansas is 129th in the country. They allow 284. So I expect, as long as weather's fine in Arkansas, I have no freaking clue what's going on there. But assuming the weather's fine and good throwing conditions, I think Quinn Ewers lights these fools up. So I'm taking Texas -7 for the first half, and then -12.5 for the game. Now, I will say I don't think Arkansas, their offense can carry the weight to push the over. So I'm taking under 57.5 for the game. Looking at Arkansas's offense, they only put up 28 points a game, yards per game. 458, that's respectable. That's 8th in the country. But I just don't think they can put up the points to push this over the 57.5. I think it's a one-sided affair. So under on that. Next up, again, I got multiple bets on these games. So 3:30 CBS, number 4 Penn State at Purdue. We just beat the pecker slap those Purdue Boilers. And this is in West Lafayette, Indiana. Penn State is favored by 28.5. So let's look at. I got a player prop on this one too. So looking at these teams, we just talked about Purdue last week. Quickly, their defense is garbage. I'm talking 132nd in most of these categories. Just bad. They allow 42.5 points a game. So I think this is a get-right game for Penn State. Maybe they work on some things. Drew Aller probably is going to look like Tom Brady. This defense of Purdue, we saw what they can do. Nothing. They allow 270 through the air. Penn State puts up 248. That's 43rd in the country. Rushing yards, I expect to see some more of Singleton and Katron Allen. They rush for almost 200 a game. That's 25th in the country. So I think Penn State, what can you say? I mean, and Purdue doesn't move the ball for shit, not against a decent team. And Penn State's defense is above average. I wouldn't say it's great, but, Purdue is in the bottom of all their offensive categories, 131, 129, 127, and all these yards, points, all of it. So Hudson Card is terrible. He's not good. So I'm taking Penn State -28.5. I know you got the weird hook there on the end, but I think this is going to be more than Penn State beating by at least 5 touchdowns. So, but I am taking the under because I don't think Purdue can carry their half of the over. So it's under 50. So take the under 50, and then Purdue points, just team total, I got them under 10.5. I don't think they can score 10.5 against Penn State. And then the player prop, Hudson Card, the quarterback for Purdue, under 135.5 passing yards for the game. Again, this Penn State defense is going to feast. This is one of those games like the Buckeyes last week where you pad your stats, rack up some sacks, maybe get a couple picks, turnovers, whatever. Maybe strip score, So we'll see. Strip score. I think that costs you extra. Anyway, 3:30 NBC. Let's get into this game quickly. Just one bet on this one is Notre Dame is favored by 23. You got Virginia coming to town. Now they are 5-4, so they're not a total dog here. UVA does not put up massive numbers on offense. They're like 79th in points per game. They put up 25 a game. Now Notre Dame, you might not know this, and judging by the viewership of NBC games, Notre Dame's actually in the top 10 in a lot of defensive categories: points per game, yards per game, yards per play, and 36 against the run, and third against the pass. So this defense is legit. Unfortunately, I don't think their offense is that great. Yeah, they racked up some 50-point games against garbage teams, but I don't like their quarterback, Riley Reynolds, Riley Rhymes. I don't know. Anyway, so rushing yards per game, the Irish are 11th in the country, 215 rushing yards per game. I think that they overwhelm Virginia, and I think that they easily run the ball down their throats to the tune of at least 23. So take Notre Dame minus 23 for that game. All right, we got just a few more. 3:30 on ABC, you got LSU going to Gainesville, taking on the Gators. LSU, again, a 3-loss team. They think they're controlling their own destiny. No, sorry, you're not making it into the playoffs. Anyways, we'll get past that. I hope LSU fans have realized that you do not control your own destiny, man. You can win out. I don't see you getting in. All right. Oh, 5 o'clock. Doesn't matter. All right, so LSU, their offense, up and down, I would call it, roller coaster. But Florida's defense is trash, garbage. Take it out to the curb, leave it, shoot it behind the shed, leave it for dead, whatever you got to do. These guys are right around 100th in points allowed, yards per game. Third down conversions are 70th. Rushing, they're 98th in rushing yards allowed. Passing yards allowed, they're 91st. So these Gators have quit. They're done, over. And LSU, they actually can throw the ball a bit. They're number 7 in the country in passing yards per game. And they just can't run the ball for shit. So if Florida decides they just want to roll over and lay down, that's probably best case scenario. DJ Lagway is supposed to be playing for Florida, so we'll see what he can bring to the table. But again, their offense has been trash. But passing yards per game, they put up 203. That's 86 in the country. So I'm taking LSU. This is a short spread here, just 4. LSU's favored by 4 going into Gainesville. I'm not sure if it's the DJ Lagway effect there, keeping this a little tighter, but I'm taking LSU all day long. I think the LSU defense is not terrible. They're not great, but they're not terrible. At least they're better than Florida's. All right, 7:30 on NBC. You got number 1 Oregon at Wisconsin, going to Camp Randall, Mad Town, jump around, all that stuff. So let's get into this one. Let's see. Oregon's favored by 14 for this one. We know what they do. We've seen them up close and personal. They're top 15 in points per game on offense, yards per game on offense, yards per play. They're 8th. They put up 6.8. Third down conversions, they're 2nd in the country. Red zone scoring, they're 60th. So they don't convert as often as you might like. And this Wisconsin defense has actually gotten better over the year, in my opinion. 39th in the country in points allowed. They only allow 22.5. Then yards per game, they're 32nd. Third down conversions, they're 77th, so you should be better there. But I feel like Luke, we're all Luke Fickell fans. Who isn't? But I think they can keep this relatively close going into the fourth quarter. That's where things separate, though. And throwing the ball, Wisconsin, 6th in the country in passing yards allowed per game. They only allow 165 passing per game. That's Oregon's strength, right? They're 18th in the country there. So this is strength on strength. Oregon's passing game without Tez Johnson still against this Wisconsin pass defense. Now, you still have to score points, Wisconsin. So that's the challenge here. They're 82nd on offense in points scored per game. Wisconsin is 72nd in yards per game they're putting up. I guess the upside is they're 48th in rushing yards per game, 174 yards a game. That's not bad. But passing yards, 85th. They're barely getting over 200 yards a game passing. And we've seen Oregon's defense against the pass and the run. They're holding steady in the top 20, 35th in rushing yards allowed, and 16th in passing yards allowed. So for this game, I got a couple bets for you, a few actually. For the first half, I'm going under 26.5 combined, so under 26.5. But I'm taking Oregon minus 7.5 for the first half only. Then take Oregon minus 14 for the game. I think just too much firepower, and Wisconsin can't counter with their own firepower. So that's not a great recipe. But if you can get jump around on your side, keep it close, maybe you can maybe have a moral victory losing by 17 if you're Wisconsin, or 21. I think the 14 is definitely in play, so I'm taking that. All right, let's talk Tennessee at Georgia. This is a big ball game, 7:30 on ABC. Next up, we're going to talk Buckeyes and Northwestern. But number 7, Tennessee at number 12, Georgia. Tennessee has the one loss in SEC play, Georgia with 2. Now, this is in Athens, so home game for the Bulldogs. Tennessee is the underdog going into Athens. Georgia's favored by 10.5. That seems hefty to me. That's a big spread. That's what she said. And this Tennessee offense, against this Georgia defense is strength on strength. Tennessee moves the ball. That's what they do. Josh Heupel, he likes to whip it around the yard. Nico is a better runner in my opinion. He throws a nice, crisp laser beam, but sometimes you don't know where it's going. And he can scramble, take off. I think that's where he's most dangerous. He's like a smaller, more skinny Jalen Milroe. You don't want to get him lit up by a linebacker too many times. So Milroe, he'll take the fight to the linebackers and safeties. Nico, you've seen him get injured. So I don't know what that was. Anyway, rushing the ball. Tennessee 8th in the country, 227 yards a game. But Georgia's rush defense is 17th. They only allow 110 per game. Passing, Tennessee 75th in the country, throwing for 214. That's right up Georgia's alley. They allow 218. That's 61st in the country, though. We've seen Georgia get gashed. Last week, Ole Miss. I just see Ole Miss receivers running through the secondary. Nobody around them. What happened to this Georgia secondary, man? These guys are on a milk carton. So anyway, then flip it over. Carson Beck, lighten up other teams actually with passes directly into their defenders' numbers. So Georgia's offense, 50th in the country in points per game, only putting up 28 points a game. 49th in yards per game. They're putting up close to 400. 76th in the country in third down conversions. So not great. They don't run the ball for shit. They're putting up 119 on the ground per game. That's 104th in the country. And Tennessee's defense, 12th in the country. They allow 103 per game. And then passing. This is very similar. Both teams are very high in the rankings. Georgia's passing game, 16th in the country. Tennessee's pass defense, 14th in the country. So you got a tight ball game here. That's why I'm surprised at the wide 10.5 point spread. Turnovers, pretty even. Well, yeah, they're pretty even. Georgia's turnover margin's bad. They're 102nd in turnover margin. Tennessee's 31st. So, yeah, that definitely favors Tennessee. Little things like penalties, they're similar. Yeah, not a lot going on there. So, I'm going Tennessee plus 10.5. There's no freaking way Georgia can put up points and control the ball enough to keep Tennessee's offense out of the end zone. So I'm not saying Tennessee wins outright, but they're definitely going to cover that 10.5. So take the dogs, or volunteer dogs, going in against the dogs, Bulldogs. And this over-under 47.5, I'm taking the under. I think this is going to be tightly contested. You know, Tennessee run game versus Georgia's defense. Let's see who comes out on top. All right. Last one here. We'll get back to your comments and questions. Noon on BTN. Everybody's favorite. Your Buckeyes, my Buckeyes. Number 2, Ohio State, 8-1. One loss in Big Ten play at Northwestern, 4-5. 2-4 in Big Ten play at Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. It's the last time I'm going to say that, I promise. Okay. So we've talked about this. We broke it down on Sunday night's show, but I'll go back through a few stats that I think are key, like all of the offensive stats for the Buckeyes. We're top 10 in a lot of categories: points per game, yards per game, yards per play, we're third. Red zone scoring, we're fourth in the country. Remember just a couple of years ago, we had that red zone problem? Yeah, that's not a problem anymore. And then the Northwestern defense. This is going to be the strength on strength is the Buckeye offense against this Northwestern defense. They're in the top 50 in points per game allowed, yards per game, opponent yards per play. Red zone scoring, they're 21st, so that's respectable. Third down conversions, they're in the top 50. So, and then running the ball. Their running defense, rush defense, is 24th in the country. They only allow 117 yards per game to their opponents. Now, passing, they're 100th, or 99th, sorry. They allow 250 a game. That's where we can really get at them. But you're going to see the Buckeyes run the ball too. I think Chipper wants to be smart with this offense and running the ball, imposing your will against a decent defense is the way you do that. And again, the Buckeye defense against this garbage offense for Northwestern, their offense is like top 120s in points, yards. They don't do shit. They don't do anything very well. 119th in passing yards, 122nd in rushing yards, 122nd in points per game. So Buckeyes are top 5 in all these categories. Fifth in everything and passing yards allowed per game. So this is going to be hopefully a quick in and out. That's what she said. And Buckeyes get out unscathed, ideally. And I got Buckeyes minus 28. Is that the updated spread? Is that what that is? Oh, it's up to 29 now. So I got in at 28. So take the Buckeyes by 4 touchdowns in a weird game. I don't know how this is going to look on TV. I think it's going to look terrible because the cameras are going to be so far. Think about it like a center field camera when you're watching a baseball game that zooms in on the balls and strikes and the pitcher and shit. So that center field camera is going to be trying to shoot the game, a football game. And then behind home plate, there might be a camera. This is going to look terrible on TV. I don't see the win here. Anyway, so Buckeyes by 28. Take it, run with it. And then the over-under is 44. I'm taking under. I think things might get a little kooky, especially if the wind picks up. So under 44. Then I got 2 player props, 1 on each team. Travion Henderson, over 58.5 rushing yards. That seems pretty low, right? 58.5. Come on. Trey's going to go for that in his sleep. And now, since the Cheaters and Iowa are both on a bye this week, I had to find a new quarterback to bang on. Two new quarterbacks, actually, to go under their passing yards. I mentioned Hudson Card earlier, going under on his passing yards against Penn State. Right here, Jack Lausch, the Northwestern quarterback, under 118.5. Hell yeah, sign me up for that shit all day long. The Buckeye defense, again, number 4 in the country in passing yards allowed per game. This is going to be an easy one. So those are my my player props and bets on the Buckeye game. Our final score predictions that me, Jeff, and Sean gave on Sunday night, I'll repeat those for you guys. I have 31-0 Buckeyes, obviously. Trying to get my over 4.5 shutouts this season. The dream's still alive. Got 3 games left. It can still happen. Got 2 done so far. So keep hope alive. Jeff had 42-10. Sean had 38-10. So shitting on my dreams of a shutout. All right, let's go back to the chat here. Let me get some more water in my face. All right. Sage is up. Elvis had it on his plane. Oh, okay. Take care of business. I like it. Elvis, innovator and businessman. Who knew? Isn't it crazy that Priscilla Presley was in Naked Gun? More than one Naked Gun, too. That's so awesome. I saw a clip of that posted the other day on Twitter. When she's on, I think it's from Naked Gun 1, when she's on the ladder, and Leslie Nielsen looks up and says, "Oh, nice beaver." She goes, "Oh, thanks. I just had it stuffed recently." Classic. Anyway, sorry I took that on a left turn. Billy says, Archie QB might challenge Texas D. Yeah, he's a big kid. He's a big kid. We'll see. We'll see how much running he can do. Again, you know, that Texas defense is pretty freaking good, man. But we'll see. Good point, though. Billy says, does Purdue shit can Walters after the season? I've been thinking about that, actually. It's only his second year. What'd they do last year? Was it like 4-8, I think? So, I don't know. Their mistake was bringing in Hudson Card. You know, he sucks. It's bad. Bad. I don't know. I think they give him another year because what are the expectations at Purdue? Finishing 500, 6-6, making a bowl game. Is that the expectation? Just making a bowl game? Then you give him one more year, I think. I don't know what he might have a big buyout. Who the hell knows? I doubt it, but I don't think they shit can him though. Just my opinion. I am not on the inner circles of the Purdue athletics department. Sage doesn't think so either. So me and Sage agree there. Billy says, not sure how they recruiting, but their future doesn't seem very bright. Yeah, what's their NIL situation like? I mean, it doesn't look good. I don't know. They need to hit on those 2 and 3 stars. You know, they're not bringing in 5 stars. Forget it, unless they're a legacy. You know, or something like that. So, if they don't have NIL in place, they got to do it the Michigan State way. When under D'Antonio, right? Go into Ohio, Indiana, obviously, and surrounding states, Missouri. Go in there, try and pluck some kids, Kentucky too. You know, you gotta like hit on a couple of 2 and 3 stars that blow up into 4 stars. You know, that's the only angle they got, the way I see it. People are not transferring to Purdue. You know. It's like the last resort, the last gas station for miles. Badass Buckeye, what's up, Bab? Purdue has no life in them. They don't. They really don't. probably should hire an OC. So you don't want, I mean, not that their offense is killing it right now, but I would not want to be the head coach calling plays who's a defensive guy. That seems like a lose-lose situation, because then you look like you're playing two parts and you suck at both. So, yeah, they got to get an OC that matters. A young up-and-comer. You're not going to land a freaking a big name. Although I thought Graham Harrell was kind of an up-and-comer in the business, but it didn't work out. Billy says Whiskey needs a quarterback. Yeah, that's. Can they get one of those before tomorrow? No, probably not. They do need a quarterback, though, Billy. TVD was never the answer. Billy says, would we rather face Tennessee or Georgia in the playoffs? I think Georgia. I think our passing game, RPO game, would give them fits. And I think we can run the ball on them. This is not the Georgia defense of the previous 5 years, when they were winning titles. This is not that defense. So, and again, if Ole Miss is slicing and dicing your defense, you got big problems, man. And I don't think you can fix it in 1 week or a month, So, yeah, I'll take Georgia's. I want to face Georgia's defense. Their offense sucks too. Imagine how many picks we'd have against freaking Carson Beck. He sucks. He's bad. They repo that Lambo yet? Kick him off of his plane deal? Badass Buckeye agrees, taking Georgia. Yep, good call. Billy says, think so too, revenge factor as well. That can't be underrated. The emotional revenge factor would be on the Buckeyes. So, yeah, I agree with you. Sage has a score for the Buckeye game, 49-0. Julian saying with 2 touchdown passes. All right. Sign me up for that. Billy says 31-6. If I were Day, I'd consider only playing Howard a quarter and then give the rest of the game to Brown and Sand. That's not a bad plan. I like that. Nice. Yep. Oh, thank you, Billy. Thanks for noticing. I just had it stuffed recently. Oh, I got videos for you guys. So I showed you the danger areas. Go back to that. So basically, the corner of the end zones and the back of the end zones is a nightmare scenario. Then I have the walk from, this is to the field, I think. Let me double check that. Yeah, I think this is the walk to the field. Oops, back it up. I guess from the locker rooms. Billy, get your beaver off my screen. Gotcha. So yeah, this seems. Why are the walls green? Anybody any ideas? But look at this walk. No, this is not in slow speed. This is in normal speed. People just wandering around. We got batting cages there on the left, it looks like. Dugout. Sign that says dugout. Has anybody tried walking this wearing a helmet and shoulder pads yet? That's my question. And maybe being like 6'5", 300 pounds. That seems like a long walk in gear, right? I'm not sure your shoulder pads can make it down this little freaking hallway. Look how wide that is. That can't be more than like 3 feet wide. Holy crap. And what's that on the left? Is that an ATM? Seriously, there's an ATM there? Why is there an ATM? And then you got this narrow-ass door. Doesn't even look like a legit door. This is a freaking mess, man. Oh, this is probably where the pitchers warm up, I guess, on the left. Yeah. And then another narrow-ass doorway to go through. And up the narrow stairs to the shit show you're about to witness. Yeah. Wow. This looks like fun. I love this idea. Anyways, we don't have to watch that again. Get out of here. Yeah, Billy, I agree. It is freaking irresponsible. Yep. You better pray nobody for the number 2 team in the country gets hurt, man. You're not going to hear the end of it. There may even be a lawsuit at some point. Because Ohio State loves, and I mean loves, to sue people. So get out your checkbook, Wrigley people. Yeah, it's very irresponsible, though. Bass Buckeye. Was that a Pac-Man machine from 20 years ago? I thought it was an ATM. It could have been Pac-Man. Maybe it was Miss Pac-Man. Nobody ever played Miss Pac-Man, right? I never saw anybody playing that. I can't even tell you what the characters look like on it. Everybody played regular Pac-Man, right? Everybody's playing the girly-ass Pac-Man. So, I do have the bracket, the latest bracket I want to throw up for you guys. Not throw up like, puking, but here's what we got after Tuesday's announcement by the committee, whatever the fuck. We got a score. Asteroids was your game, Billy? Nice. Yeah, still is your game from what I hear, right? When you go to the bathroom. Hey-oh. I think that was Vacation. That was from... Stephen Cherry's in. Buckeyes 56-10 over Northwestern. High-scoring affair. Crazy. Psychopath. But I like it. Yeah, this is... I like this this bracket right now. You can sign me up for this. I know having a bye is great and all, but we virtually have a bye against Boise State. I know Genty is a stud, should be a high Heisman favorite in my opinion, but yeah. Give me Boise State, then the Canes. Oh, Canes fans will hate us again for another couple decades. Please, no. Canes fans say, not the Buckeyes. Yeah. And then we get redemption against Oregon. Or Tennessee. We don't really need redemption against them, but yeah. I like this path. Even if we faced a BYU, I'd be fine with that one too. A couple late night golfers out here, fucking sunsetting, morons, old ladies. I tell you, some of these old ladies on the golf course crack me up. So they got like a 3-wood or even an iron, maybe a pitching wedge. They cannot lift that freaking club up past their head. Their swing starts like this and goes. They don't have the muscle mass to move a golf club. Jesus. Oh, it's pathetic. Anyway, so this bracket, I think Tennessee probably likes their matchup pretty good. I think they can smoke Notre Dame. Although Oregon in the second round, maybe not so much. About Penn State versus Ole Miss. That could go either way. I could be talked into anything there. That's probably a pick 'em. Actually, yeah, I have spreads right now for a few games. Let me give you these. So Bama at Indiana right now. Bama's favored by 6.5. This is according to Bet Online. Ole Miss at Penn State is a pick'em. That's what I thought. Right now, the Buckeyes would be 19.5-point favorites against Boise State in Columbus. That's in Columbus. So 3 touchdowns. That seems right in line, right? I mean, that makes sense. Got a couple more comments coming in. So yeah, the winner of Bama, Indiana is getting screwed though with Texas. Yeesh. Ole Miss, Penn State, that winner gets BYU. That's a win. But then you got to face probably Bama or Texas. Not great. So Sage has a comment in here. Ohio State has a walk to the Final Four. I agree. Steven, Missile Command. Yeah, I used to play that shit. That was a good one. Steven has 38-6 Buckeyes. Sign me up for that. Just a cover. Give me a cover. A simple cover. That's all I need. So let's get this off the screen. Yeah. They got to get these freaking auto bids hammered out, man. I don't like the auto bids. The Big 12 should not get a bye in the first round. The winner of the Big 12. It's fucking stupid. Steven says, all playoffs should be played on campus, championship games on a neutral site. Right. Unfortunately, Atlanta's not really a neutral site, right? For Georgia or Bama. LSU in the Superdome in New Orleans, not a neutral site either. We've experienced. Billy says, I still don't trust Texas. They look like crap against the only real team they played. Yeah, I don't know. They did lose to Georgia. That's fair. I mean, by 2 touchdowns. I don't think they should get credit for beating Michigan either. Nobody should get credit for beating them. We shouldn't, and we're going to blow them out of the freaking water, hang 100 style, hopefully. But it's not a ranked win. Shouldn't be anyways. So, yeah. Winding down here. It's 5:30. Oh, I got to go make a cocktail. But you're right, Billy. I agree. Texas could be a fraud. They could be a little fraudulent. We'll see. But hope you'll join me, Jeff, and Sean Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back with our reaction to the Buckeyes game at Northwestern, and we will talk about the Indiana game. We're on to Indiana, and actually, it's in Columbus, so you know what I mean. Stephen Cherry gets the last comment. Heather Dinich and Paul Big Ears Feinbaum lobbying hard for 5 SEC teams to get in. Yep, there's shills for their network. It's pathetic, but that's why I don't watch that 4-letter network. Screw those guys and their SEC horse they rode in on. Kenneth, you get the last comment because it was a good one. What's up, Kenneth? Good to see you. You might want to, rewind. I'm getting the shakes. I got to pour a drink to calm the shakes. But anyways, thank you, Kenneth. Good to see you. I hope you'll join us Sunday night, 7:30 Eastern, like everybody else. And we'll talk to you then. Go Bucks.